Hey y'all, welcome back to this week's episode of AMA Friday with Amy Miller, recruiting in yoga pants. So, busting out the whiteboard. Y'all should have gotten serious. I got the whiteboard out. So I do want to walk through, I think this is an important topic and hopefully I can do it justice, but there's a lot of, I'm sure, well-intentioned advice on LinkedIn about, shooting your shot and don't worry if you don't qualify for the job, apply anyway, blah, blah, blah. We've talked about that before, but I want to dig in a little bit more to this idea around hiring for potential or hiring for attitude, training for skills. Very clever meme, no doubt, very clever. People love it. Eat it with a spoon. Thought leader nonsense, delicious. Oh, so tasty. So bad for you, right? No nutritional value there, y'all. Just saying. Here's why. I do believe that we need to create opportunities for training, for growth, for all those things. I'm a big supporter of that. I'm a big supporter of giving people chances, but I also recognize it is not a universal solution. Okay? It does not apply to every role at every company in every situation. And that is what we need to get clear on. So when y'all are out there running your mouth saying, it's not fair, you expect people to be qualified. Of course I do. They're dealing with millions of dollars of materials and gonna launch something into space. I can't let anybody loose on that. Really? I mean, that seems like common sense to me. And I know my viewers get it. But maybe one of these thought leaders will swing on by and watch this video and have a light bulb moment. Let us hope. Okay, so here's what I want to break down for you, okay? So we're going to use recruiting as an example, because that's what I know. And so we're going to we've got a startup, we have a mid-size company, and then we've got giant corporation. Okay, so I have 3 companies and all 3 of these companies want to hire a recruiter. Okay, lucky me, I've got options. So startup, it's going to be first recruiter. They're going to create the org. They're going to do all of the technical, they have to purchase the ATS and figure out the infrastructure, set up the interview plan, all of that. They're developing everything here. Okay. They're doing all these things. They're going to be the first person in recruiting. Everything is on them. Okay. Then I have my mid-sized people. They have an existing team. And let's say there's 5 to 6 recruiters on the team. Okay. And they're adding, this is a net new position. They're adding because they're busy, right? And this person is going to, maybe they're going to hire somebody that's going to focus on sourcing. So we want to bring somebody in that can really do a deep dive into kind of that early candidate generation process. Okay. This is the problem we've established that we have. And then I have giant corporation, and maybe I've got a new grad program. I've got some apprenticeship stuff, right? And I've got a really robust training solution, okay? So here's the 3 kinds of companies that are maybe looking for recruiters, okay? Recruiter's a broad term. You could have a recruiter who's been at it for 6 months. You could have somebody like me who's been doing it for 100 years, okay? Which of these companies can hire for attitude? Okay, think about it. Here, put a little closer so you can read it. Startup land, first ever recruiter, mid-sized company, super busy team, needs some help, particularly around candidate generation, ginormous corporation, we're feeding a pipeline for future hires. Who's hiring based on attitude, train for skills? Not this guy. Not really that guy either. Probably this one. Let me explain why. Now, I don't want you to get the takeaway that, oh, so you mean I can only work for a big giant company? Not necessarily. Depends on how they're structured. But let me tell you why it doesn't work here. When we're talking about a startup, or we're talking about a company who's maybe never hired a person to do a thing, you could replace this with anything. Okay, I work for a ginormous corporation, and I have roles where the person I'm trying to recruit is the first of their kind. And we have the same issue of, holy crap, we don't have anybody that can train the person. My marker's going dry. We don't have the flexibility of just, bringing in somebody off the street who's never done it. I need the person who can actually teach me. I need the person who can create it. I need the person who can invest in, the right technology, the right tools or whatever. They need to bring that expertise with them, because I don't have anybody in this organization that can show them how to do it. So hire for attitude, and then what? Who's going to show them the ins and outs of all of these things I need them to do? Okay, so we can mark that off the list. Going over to my mid-sized folks, okay? So they're maybe putting out an ad and they're saying, hey, I need somebody with like 3 years of experience and somebody who, maybe has a little bit of recruiting expertise and is able to help us with some candidate generation, okay? So you might say, well, why can't they train? That's why. This kind of role, an organization that's described a problem in this fashion, needs someone who has typically at least some fundamental knowledge. There are probably some gaps that we can train because we do have an existing team. We can maybe spread, this team is probably overworked. They're carrying the whole load. They're trying to loosen that load by bringing in someone that can focus on sourcing in particular in this example. So there are going to be some things that we can train you on. We can show you how to use our ATS. We can walk you through some of the finer points of, communication or outreach or whatever. But ideally, you're coming with some expertise, some knowledge so that you can we can add on to what you already know. You don't have to be this person who knows everything, but you got to have some kind of baseline so that you can actually hit the ground running and start being effective, hopefully within a matter of months, several weeks to a month or two of training to get up to speed. So hire just on potential. I mean, to a degree, there's going to be some of that. But again, we need to start with that baseline knowledge, that minimum basic qualifications, minimum requirements. So is this the company that's going to take somebody off the street that's never done recruiting before? Probably not. Which leads us to not necessarily company size. I don't want you to get focused on that. I don't want you to think like, oh, this just means giant corporations. Not necessarily. What it does mean is somebody who has the infrastructure. An organization that is able to say, yep, we can recognize some raw talent. We want people who are excited about this line of work. We want people who can, come in and be an apprentice, come in as a new college grad, whatever. We see this in software, for example, all the time. We're going to train you. So yes, hire for potential. As a job seeker, as someone who's trying to make that pivot, as somebody who is questioning, I really want to break into this industry, no one will give me a chance. This might be why. Are you tapping the companies that do not have the infrastructure that you need to be successful? Are you going after roles whose scope is above and beyond what you today are capable of? I've been at this for 23 years. I feel fairly confident I could probably tackle something like this, given the right opportunity, but I also know where my gaps are. I know that there are things I might need to learn or get up to speed on. So even this, I would, with all the years of experience I have and all the cool stuff I've done in my career, I might pause a little bit and think real hard about, do I have what it takes to solve this problem? I could teach this class, and I have. Okay. So someone like me isn't necessarily fitting here either. I may be more around here. I may be, oh, this is probably even a little light for me, but you get what I'm saying? So you have to really understand it starts with the problem the organization is trying to solve. And then you, as the job seeker, as the potential candidate, need to have a really honest conversation with yourself about how can I prove that I can solve that problem? Okay. So that is my thoughts. I've already over time now, so I'll wrap it up here. But that's my thoughts on this whole hire for potential nonsense. You have to find the right target. So how do you do that as the job seeker? You're going to look at the industry that you want to get into, and you're going to uncover the opportunities that exist. You're going to look at the companies that are hiring people like you or like what you want to be. You're going to connect with those individuals. 3-way networking templates. I tell you guys this all the time. Potential peers, potential hiring managers, potential recruiters. Your best bet is to go after the people who are doing what you want to do and have come from a similar place as you, or the people who manage what you want to do, who are feeling the pain of the open position. That is where I want you to spend your time. I don't want you chasing just random job descriptions that sound cool and you're convinced you can do it. Not going to get you the result that you want, because frankly, we are going to over-index on the people who meet the qualifications. Supply and demand comes into play here. Just being very transparent with you. If I have 20 well-qualified, meet 100% of the basic qualifications requirements, I'm going to talk to those 20 people. And the 21st person who's coming along with an amazing attitude, but only half the skills, probably doesn't even get a call. Just being honest. Okay, so think about that. I want y'all to use the templates. I want you to do some of that research. I want you to understand where are the organizations that are able to invest in me, that have the infrastructure, that have the training potential, that have the room for that new enroll person, for that entry level person. Look, I'm not saying they're readily available, but you can find them, and you just need to approach it a little bit more realistically and have some honest conversations, not only with yourself, but also with your network, okay? We could say a lot more on this topic. I'm gonna stop there because we're well over time, but I do want y'all to understand that business problems roles are created from a place of solving a business problem. So make sure that you're able to solve that for them. All right, y'all, hope that helps. See you next week.